Have you ever sat down to draw for quote-unquote 5 minutes and then looked up to realize 4 hours have passed? You haven't eaten, but you've successfully redesigned an entire character's wardrobe? If that sounds familiar, you're probably a neurodivergent artist. After my last video about growing up neurodivergent, so many of you have reached out saying that you struggle with the same brain chaos when trying to create. So today I'm sharing about how I went from being overwhelmed by a blank canvas to actually finishing my pieces. As someone who's on the autism spectrum and someone who is also looking into getting an ADHD diagnosis, the hardest part of any video like this isn't actually the drawing. It's just the pressure of opening the app. There's a specific kind of ADHD paralysis where you have 10 amazing ideas for maybe a new webcomic panel, but because you can't decide which one is perfect or which one is good enough, you end up staring at the ceiling for 2 hours instead. Then, on the flip side decides to happen. Hyperfocus. I'll finally start on a small detail of a piece, like the highlights in a character's eyes. And then suddenly I'm in a trance. I've forgotten to eat, I've forgotten to enter my texts, and I've just spent 3 hours on a detail that most people won't even see. It's a superpower, yes, but it's a messy one, because it usually leaves me completely burnt out by the time I get to the actual quote-unquote important parts of the piece. My digital workspace usually looks exactly like my real-life desks. It looks like a beautiful disaster. I have layers named something that looks like it was slammed on a keyboard or final version 3. In my neurodivergent storytime, I talked about how I had to mask this chaos to fit in. But as an artist, I realized that this mess is just part of the process. The chaos isn't the enemy. It's just part of the raw material. I used to think I was just bad at being an adult, but once I started looking at these patterns as ADHD and autism traits instead of personal failures, I could actually build the tools to work with them. So, let's move past the chaos. Here are the 3 things that actually helped me finish this drawing. Now, let's get on to the actual toolkit. Hack number 1 is something I call microtasking. One of the biggest hurdles for an ADHD brain is the wall of awful. That feeling when a project looks so big that you can't even find the start button. Instead of saying, I'm going to draw today, I set a timer for exactly 20 minutes and tell myself, I'm only doing the eyes right now. That's it. It turns the giant scary mountain into a tiny hill. Most of the time, once that timer goes off, my hyperfocus has actually kicked in and I'm ready to keep going. But if I'm having a high stimulation day and I can't focus, I just stop the timer when it dings, guilt-free. Giving yourself permission to work in bursts is a game changer. Hack number 2 is all about secondary stimulation. You know how I mentioned in my indie horror video that I love the atmosphere of games like Five Nights at Freddy's and Poppy Playtime? Well, there's a reason for that. My brain needs a certain level of noise in order to stay in the zone. If I'm doing something creative, like character design, I need lo-fi or complete silence. But when I'm doing the boring stuff, like flattening colors, my brain will literally try to escape my head if I don't give it something else to do. I call this distracting the distraction. I'll put on a 3-hour-long horror deep dive or a video essay or something that just occupies the bored part of my brain, so the artist part can actually finish the work. Match your background noise to your task difficulty, and you'll find you stop reaching for your phone every 5 minutes. Finally, hack number 3 is the most important for your mental health. It's called embracing the ugly stage. Because of the perfectionism and masking I talked about in my growing up neurodivergent story time, I used to quit the second a drawing looked bad or not good enough. But with ADHD, our brains move faster than our hands. Your sketch will look like a chaotic mess for a while, and you have to accept that it's okay. I started giving myself permission to be messy, or grace, for the first 30 minutes of each piece. By lowering the stakes, I can bypass that all or nothing shutdown. This piece you're seeing right now, it looked like a thumbprint for eyes for the first half hour. If I hadn't pushed through that ugly stage, I would have never seen the final result. Be kind to your brain. It's doing its best to keep up with your imagination. And here's the final results. This piece represents that feeling when the chaos finally sets into something clear. Using those hacks, the timers, the background noise, and just being kind to my ugly sketches is the only reason this character exists today instead of being stuck in my head as a half-finished thought. I used to feel so much guilt when the way my brain worked. I thought being a real artist meant being perfectly organized and never struggling to start. But if you're watching and you're feeling the same way, I want you to know that your neurodivergence isn't a barrier to your creativity. Heck, it's the source of it. You just need to build a studio that fits your brain, not someone else's. I'm curious, what's one thing that helps you focus when the brain fog hits? Or is there a specific hack you want me to do a deeper dive into? Let me know in the comments. Your stories in the last video meant the world to me, and I'd love to keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for spending some time in my brain today. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to check out my webcomic Outcast on Tapas for more of my characters and stories. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!